first time I ever did a really big speech or talk that was really important, about halfway through I realized that my zipper was down. So now, I mean, I'm always kind of like worried about that. But listen, I have to give credit to my niece, Adelina Eisel, who is a naturopathic medical doctor who's been helping me kind of pour through the research and pick out some stuff. I'm also thankful to Dr. Pompa for giving me an opportunity several months ago and invited me to his event in Nashville. And I made some big claims. And he kind of scolded me. He's like, hey, you're making a lot of big claims here. This is either a really versatile device or you're full of you know what. And I said, let me prove it. And many of you know the story because one of his good friends, Dr. Hank Williams, who had gone through a kidney transplant a couple of years ago and was on high doses of Cipro and developed terrible neuropathy and had a terrible wound on his big toe that we treated today. Again, because healing takes time. It's just, it doesn't happen overnight. And the longer it's been there, the longer the problem, you know, takes to heal. Oftentimes we have this wow effect with this device. It's transformation. It can actually take someone who's had back pain for 23 years and in 2 sessions be like doing pirouettes. That's one of Dr. Scott Kramer's patients. And she will be featured a week from today on the doctors with this technology. It's pretty big because we're just a little mom and pop company. And we are like, is it Thomas the Train? We think we can, we think you can. If someone tells me I can't do something, wow, I'm all over it. That's the way I am. I had a vision to take this to a national stage, and I have like 3 people behind me, my wife being one of them, Dr. Pompa being the other, and some of you early adopters, the platinum members, like Dr. Duncan McCullum, Dr. Scott Kramer, who's not here, he's on a big LCUT, Lee Nagel, Sean McHugh. Those guys are the ones who had faith in what I was doing. I'm like this guy riding a bike, right? You know what a Peloton is? Yeah. You know that cool thing you can have in your house and ride around, right? And burn off? Well, see, a Peloton in real life in the biking world is there's a group of us, right? That are biking together, and we can cut through the air and break some of that resistance. Well, I was the guy at the front going, hey, come on, come with me. And the first part, I was just kind of pumping uphill by myself. And people were like, yeah, right, whatever. I mean, I went to these regenerative medicine groups, and I'm like, hey, I got a device, and I'm pretty sure it's making stem cells. And they're like, get out of here. You're a crazy chiropractor. And I kept going, and I kept saying, like, I didn't get to marry that beautiful woman because he said yes on the first time. It took me weeks.
Yeah, it did.
This is before stalking was illegal. So I was biking, and I would bring it to guys, very big, influential people. And I said, hey, look at this device. I treated them. They were wowed. They couldn't conceive it. 34 years in healthcare, they'd never seen anything like it. They call me the next day. Wait a second, how does it do that? How does it work like that? Well, like I said, I'm not a professional speaker, but I will tell you that this is some of the most futuristic technology that we've seen in our lifetimes. Really is. Dr. Duncan McCullum, he coined it the Star Trek medical scanner, right? Because there's a diagnostic component to this. If you run it over normal tissue, and Dr. Tomas is not normal, but if you run it over normal tissue, there's no pain. But if you get to an area that's irritated or inflammation, you're like, right there. Oh my gosh, right there. I love the patients in your clinic because they're all like work for Apple and these software companies, And they come up with these little one-liners for us. You have to feel it to heal it. And that's what we tell our patients. And the more pain you have, the better outcome. So yes, I look a little like a sadist because I've got this smile on my face as I'm doing the work. I think you're like, this dude is a serial killer. But no, really, I just know that you're going to have a great response. Okay? And I'm not going to get into the technology. And I can go through some of these great slides. And, you know, it helps. This is some of the work that it does, right? Different things. And it's very versatile. Dr. Thomas Liu out of the University of California, San Francisco, world-renowned urologist, said at an international symposium for sexual medicine last year, he said every urologist in this country is going to have this device in the next 2 to 3 years, or their practice will be that of a flip phone from 2008. Wow. I mean, I like my flip phone. The Razor one was pretty cool. You know? But we're seeing it in wound healing. It has an antimicrobial effect. We're seeing the cardiologists are using it for the LVAC device. We talked a little bit about it. And how they're getting infections, and this, with 1 or 2 treatments, helping really boost the body's immune system. Obviously, orthopedists have been using it for a decade to help with fractures that are not healing in the lower extremity. I've actually patented this technology to use with diabetic, chemo-induced, and just regular peripheral neuropathy. Because I saw, once I implemented it into my busy clinic, that it doubled the amount of healing. For 9 years, our patients, on average, I could watch them come in. They come in with a pain level of 8. They walk really tough. They've lost sensory feeling in their sensory nerves in their feet. And they're in a lot of pain. They're not moving. And it was such a dramatic impact. At first, I only used it on the patients that weren't benefiting. And within 2 or 3 visits, these patients wanted more and more. And I was excited. But I was starting to lose my hearing because I don't know if you guys saw me. I actually have to wear these noise cancelers. But now I'm on this little bike, right? And I'm biking and there's 3 or 4 more with me and it's getting a little easier. And I'm calling for the rest of you. If you want to make an impact in your community, if you want something really that can be an opioid buster, that can help our communities, and guess what? Our communities are sick. They're terrible. And we need 10 times as many doctors like you. But this tool, not only is it versatile as a diagnostic, and it helps you accelerate your healing, but you need it for yourselves, right? I mean, most of these docs are so busy, I forget how wonderful this tool is. So a perfect example, I've been traveling for 16 of the last 19 weeks. I hit 6 cities, this last 7 days, I've hit 6 cities, 4 states, and been to a dozen different clinics. And you guys saw me up in Vancouver, Washington. Thanks for coming. It's like that Ed Sheeran song, 4 cities, 2 planes, and 5, something like that. But I kind of, that's the way I think in my brain, you know? But I'm on a mission. I really am. I'm on a mission to bring this technology to the masses. And it's about to explode. We're hitting that tipping point. And I need more people. But a perfect example, as I was traveling, my spine is getting like, and I'm dragging this thing around like, you ever seen The Pursuit of Happiness? Right? Will Smith had that little box that he was carrying around and he was racing with his son. That's like, I mean, you should see me going through an airport. I'm like walking through it, and that's kind of like the way I feel. But my spine has been just like, And I go to my chiropractor every Tuesday, Dr. Bob Bacon. And he's like, man, I don't know what's going on, but your spine is becoming like, your thoracic spine is coming like cement. And for like 2 weeks, he's like, dude, I don't know what you're going to do. And I get in the car, I'm like, oh, I got the stem cells. I'm getting this kyphosis walking around like all my aunts and uncles that never went to a chiropractor. So I went home that Sunday, my wife and my daughter, who's 19, I said, all right, I need 1,000 shockwaves on my spine. Boom, did 1,000 shockwaves. Oh, it hurts, oh, I screamed. Ah! I get off the table, I'm like, I gotta beat the golf match. I had a golf match. Raced to the golf thing, played 9 holes, played like unbelievable. And the guy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I got the stem cell machine. Like, I couldn't even rotate. I didn't even think I was gonna forfeit the match. I go to the next day to my ART practitioner on Monday. She does some stretching. She does some things. She's like, things are changing in there. I go, I know. Tuesday morning, I go back to Dr. Bacon. On the table, he's like, whoa, what have you been doing? I go, the stem cell machine. He goes, I don't want to hear about the stem cell machine anymore. All you talk about is the stem cell machine. It's true, right? But there's a lot of different things. Like, if you get a chance and you want to see the wound healing capabilities, and these are the worst of the worst. Some of you that don't like blood and guts, you don't want to see it. But it's pretty amazing how we're helping tissue repair and accelerate the healing. Why is it happening? There's nitric oxide, right? There's true angiogenesis. It's improving. Wherever you have pain, you have poor blood supply. So the FDA has cleared us to help decrease pain and improve circulation. I've been traveling around for the last 2 years, and I'm meeting with some of the top pain specialists in the world. And I ask them, real simple, where does pain come from? You know that book, Are You My Mommy?
Yeah.
Are you my mommy? I say to them, where does pain come from? They can't tell me. I mean, they'll go through all this different stuff. Well, all I know is one thing. When I put this thing on pain, pain goes away. So I say, pain needs improved blood supply and VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor, angiogenesis. See, within 45 minutes, this is activating your own resident stem cells. They become like a swarm of bees. They start calling for all these other attractants and other helper cells to come to that area. And what I love about it most is like old injuries. Yeah, no, that's been there for 20 years. No. You have to be like a detective when you're talking to your patients. I know the thing works, I just don't know how fast it's going to work on patients. So you've got to find out, right? Because they say, oh, fix my shoulder, oh, my elbow, and then I got a bad knee. So here's some practice management and how each device that you have can probably make your practice $500,000, okay? Each device. And I'm going to show you really simply. You don't treat all 3 of those areas on the first day. Okay? Because, again, you have so much helper cells and T cells and other immuno-activating cells in your body. You don't want to spread them to 3 different parts of your continent, right? You want to focus the majority of that healing energy to that main area. So what we found and what we did in Dr. Duncan's clinic and Dr. Scott Kramer's is we took some of the things we learned from PBS, and instead of giving away this technology and barely getting by, we decided, hey, there's going to be $1 per shock. It was as simple as that. And what I was doing that was wrong was I would sell 3,000 shockwaves, and then I would do it on their feet, and then they were out. So every 5 weeks, I was reselling 3,000 shockwaves. So what I decided to do was put a little algorithm together. And I said, depending on the severity of